Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatma, and I wanna present the three articles. The first article is about the use of questioning strategy to facilitate student reading comprehension in Taiwan. The author is Ike Rawati and was published on September 30, 2019. The aim of this study is to examine the effectiveness of using questioning strategy to facilitate student reading problem found through MISQ analysis. The study also investigates student motivation toward the strategy itself. The purpose of the study the type of this research is qualitative study, and the participant where the college student in Taiwan consists of one high-achieving student and one low-achieving student. Both were on the same language proficiency level in level C. They were asked to complete MISQ pre and post test. An interview was also conducted to find out their motivation toward the strategy. The result indicate that the strategy didn't work well in the both students, as their motivation interpret their reading performance. The study concludes that the strategy worked better in the higher motivation student. The first is introduction. Reading is an activity that creates an interaction between readers and writer. Alderson state that the reading is an interaction between the readers and the text. To reach a good interaction and communication between what is printed on the text and readers' understanding, some reading strategies are commonly used, such as summarizing, question generating, skimming, scanning, and others. Questioning is among of one of those strategies that can be used to improve student reading comprehension. It was found that students could make more responses when helped by the questioning strategy. In the strategy, the student may ask to create an appropriate question by using clues from the paragraph and also using their prior knowledge of the topic to predict what may be said in the paragraph. MISQ analysis is an instrument that was used to detect student reading problem in which they were asked to read aloud the text. Their reading would be analyzed to mark their reading errors, which would be classified to determine their problem. This study use MISQ analysis for pre-test and post-test as part of the assessment. There are three questioning strategy phases. The first one is free reading activity. Is necessary as it may activate students' schemata about the text they are going to read. It provides background knowledge to make students understand the text better. The second one is during readers who formulate question while reading may anticipate what is to come in the text and look for information that can confirm or disconfirm from their prediction. The last one is after reading passes. After reading activity provides students with additional opportunities to practice what has been learned from the text and to help them link the textual information and the background knowledge. The method, the subject, there were two female students involved in this study from National Chiayi University, Taiwan. Both of them had the same proficiency. It's C, the lowest level English proficiency based on the English exam in Taiwan. And the research instrument is where MISQ analysis and used in the pre-test and post-test session. In the pre-test, the instruments were used to diagnose students' reading problem, while in the post-test, they were used to measure student achievement toward 8 meetings and reading statement, and also use the researcher use interview. In the procedure, the first one is 10 meetings, and then 90 meeting duration, the MISQ followed by interview, 3 meetings divided into 2 sections. Number 5, the question started with word, phrase, or picture in the text. 6, students explain their free associations. 7, students make a free associations with the original concept. And 8, reading comprehension test in every hour meeting. In total, there were 10 meetings. It consists of 2 meetings for tests. The duration of each meeting was 19 duration. There were 2 activities conducted during the pre-test and post-test. At first, the MISQ analysis was conducted. Then it was followed by an interview. Therefore, it was fully recorded during these 2 activities. And during the MISQ test, the students were asked to read aloud the text. And there were 8 treatment meetings, which would be divided into 2 sections. The first 4 meeting would be teacher-generated question, and while the rest would be student-generated question. In the teacher questioning condition, the student needed to read the text only. In the student-generated condition, the student were asked to generate question before, during, and after reading session. And the findings for teacher-generated question. In the teacher-generated question phases, student 2 performed better than student 1. Therefore, student 1 called the high achieving student or has, while student 1 is low achieving student. And for student generated question, student 1 showed more improvement than student 2. However, both student 1 and student 2 got lower score in this phases. It was because the phase was more challenging, as they needed to be an independent reader by asking themselves questions. And here the findings. This table show each student reading comprehension test result in the teacher-generated question and the student-generated question for test 2. And last, or student 1 score improved 20 from 70 to 90, while student 1 didn't show any improvement. This test result is consistent with student progress in each meeting, in which student 1 showed more progress than student 2. This happened because student 2 rejected the strategy thought and showed a more negative attitude toward the strategy. And for pre-test and post-test, can be concluded that student 1 made more MISQ than student 2, and student 2 also had a higher motivation than student 1, considering their usage of English during the delay. This happened because student 2 reject post-test result indicate that student 1 still got a higher score than student 1. However, this didn't mean that the strategy worked better than student 2 instead of student 1. And the conclusion, the strategy instruction or questioning strategy could increase student reading comprehension, and the motivational factor affect the effectiveness of the using of the strategy. And the study show how high motivated student could perform better than low motivated student. Each reading strategy worked differently in each reader. Low motivated student might perform better than they use the previous strategy, then other strategy were forced and through the instruction. And for the second article is about developing cooperative integrated reading and composition-based role-playing game application as an alternative media in the reading learning. And the author is Nina Sofiana, when was published at September 24, 2018. The objective of the study is to develop role-playing game application as an alternative media in reading learning. And the subject is students and English teacher from one of vocational schools in Central Java, Indonesia. The experiments were observation, documentation, and questionnaire, and the results show that RPG application can be used as a media in learning process of reading skill. Reading is one of the important skills of English, which has prominent position in foreign language teaching. It provides valuable contribution to develop learner language acquisition and support other skills foreign language. The use of media in the teaching and learning process is very beneficial to attract student attention and to make teaching and learning activity more interesting and also effective. Nowadays, students are use media like computer, television, DVD, and others in their everyday life. For digital game-based learning, can be used as alternative learning model, which is expected to improve student English proficiency, especially reading skill. And role-playing game is application is that can expose the student to the language skill and integrate them in an interesting way that could ensure the student to immerse them in the story. And here the method. The first method is research and information collection. In this stage, the writer reviews the literature which relates to the topic comprising learning media. The second step is planning. By formulating teaching objectives, teaching activities, and reading materials. The third one is preliminary form of project. This phase is developing form for product, followed by expert validation and revision. The result of validation from the media expert and material expert is used to revise the product. For preliminary file testing, the first testing consists of limited and expanded tryout. The limited tryout is conducted toward 10 grad students of vocational high school to use RPG as media of learning. The 5 is main product revision. After evaluation and revision of limited tryout result, the expanded tryout is conducted toward 33 students in one class 6 main field testing. The result of expanding is also used to basis for the last product revision. And the second 7 is operational product revision, 8 operational field testing, 9 final product revision, and the last one dissemination and implementation. The instrument in this study is observation, questionnaire, and documentation. The researcher conduct an observation and documentation of a lesson plan material and textbook to find the preliminary teaching and learning condition in the classroom. And the teacher's questionnaire is related to the teaching and to the teaching and learning process of reading, the use of computer or media in reading learning, and the teacher's needs. Meanwhile, the student questionnaire includes some aspect of things student to the outside school. And data collection is the teacher questionnaire and student questionnaire, and data analysis is quantitatively and qualitative. For findings, research and information collection. In this research and information collection, the researcher reviewed the literature, conducted an observation to find the condition of learning process, analyze the teachers and student needs. By reviewing the literature related to the topic, it was found that digital game-based learning, or DGBL, is a learning method that uses game apps that have been specifically designed to aid the learning process. And for cooperative integrated learning and composition is one of the learning strategy of English that asks students to be able to integrate the ability to read and write in English. Students will be able to write if students are able to comprehend the reading well. Then in the answer question, the researcher observed the English teacher and the student relate to the learning of reading skill. The teacher used specific approach in learning activity, which consists of 5 basic experience. The first one is observing, second questioning, 3 experimenting, 4 associating, the last one is communicating. Based on the observation results, students had a pure response toward the learning activities. It could be seen when they were asked to answer questions related to the text. They still got difficulties in the finding answer. And next is analysis of teacher and student. Most of the students had low ability in reading. The next one is planning and developing form of product. This phase, the teacher first formulated reading materials, teaching objective, and teaching activities for the game. Some type of the text are narrative, procedural, descriptive, report, news item, analytical exposition, persuasive, and others. The static text for the game was narrative because of the student reading skill of narrative text was still low. There were two learning objectives, and follow analyzing social function and linguistic element in the simple narrative text, and the second one capturing the meaning of narrative text in the form of a simple short story. And the expert validation, validated by the material and media expert. After the researcher developed the game, it was validated by this expert. Questionnaire consists of 24 statements to measure the agreement level between the expert and the for product revision. There was good agreement between the material expert and the value of agreement. And for field testing and developing final product, in this field testing, it consists of limited expanded tryout. The questionnaire for the field testing consists of 27 statements and grouped into 4 aspects of programming: program security, use, instruction, and reaction and learning. This way, the students were asked to express how much they agree or disagree with each statement. And for conclusion, the result of the media and material expert validation show that the game is good to use as a media in teaching reading. Then the student also have positive response toward the use of RPG in the reading. And here for the last article is about the FL teacher practice while teaching reading comprehension in Jordan. Teacher development implication. And the author is Naima Al-Husban, were published on September 29, 2019. This research is investigated in Surface English as foreign language teacher practice while teaching reading comprehension at school. And the findings is teacher taught student reading comprehension traditionally. For introduction, according to the Gilab Jani and Soburi, teacher help learner think critically and monitor their comprehension if teacher employ various instructional strategy while teaching reading. And also, there is a lack of reading comprehension strategy instruction, and teacher in their study were not involved in teaching students how to approach and comprehend English language skill. And the method for the participant of the study were 30 Jordanian AFL teachers. They were observed in their classroom, and the sampling approach was purposefully chosen sampling. And for research instrument, the data were collected. 2 research instruments were implemented: semi-structured interview and structured observation. And for data collection procedure, the data were collected during 4-week visit to the target school. Through these visits, structured observation were conducted to collect specific types of information to answer the study question and to identify the interaction in the classroom without influencing them. After getting the approval, the teacher participate in the study. They were asked to choose 4 reading comprehension lessons to be observed by their own choice. 10 EFL teachers were interviewed using semi-structured interview after the 4th structured observation, then recorded in the written form transcript and cross-check with the participant of the study to establish the validity of the study. Then code into the main two themes. For the validity of the research tool, a jury of experts review both research tools and their comments were taken into the consideration. Both research tools have been conducted into a pilot sample to identify their appropriateness and clarity. For the reliability, inter-writer reliability coefficient was calculated according to the number of agreements between two coders. And for data analysis procedure, structure observation enabled the researcher to procedure numerical data like frequencies and prevent. The researcher and the co-writer identified the frequencies of each item in the rating scale. 10% were calculated. The descriptive statistic provided certain insight and implication which practice eval teacher usually perform and they were familiar with. The analysis of the interview was done by transcript. The 10 interviewers' responses categorized, respond, then analyze it. And for context, the school in which teachers were observed were chosen according to the willingness of eval teachers to be observed and to participate in the current study. Every eval teacher was observed for time over 2 months in the reading comprehension classes according to a specific schedule agreed on with the observed teachers. There was a co-writer to ensure the reliability of the data. And the findings, the first one is most observed teacher focused mainly on asking factual questions rather than higher thinking questions. Additionally, most of the teachers revealed their interest in presenting new words that are necessary to understand reading text and explaining the structure of the text while monitoring learners. Teachers saw almost similar practice while teaching reading comprehension lesson after observing 4 classes for each teacher. And the third, 3, all teachers tend to state the lesson's objective and introduce the topic. And for conclusion, based on the result, teachers have to help the learner to reach excellence in their teaching rather than only saying terms and not employing them properly. That's all from me. Thank you.